Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 16th through the 20th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from December 9th through the 13th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. I hope you had a fantastic week. First up is going to be Tesla. We ended the day at 436.23, up 4.34%. This is where we are. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at 439.67. Above that, 442.81 and 446.59. The middle of the trend is now right here. And I will turn back on the magnet at 432.93 roughly. Below that, 425.82, 422.40, and at negative 4 standard deviations, roughly 419.08. This is another level of support. I do not anticipate we get to this level in one shot in one day. Don't hold your breath. And if we do dip down to that level, you can bet there will be a run up as people buy the dip. Now looking left, trader JD says he thinks I should sell around the 450 mark. And trader Nate says, I think we're all looking to get off the Tesla train after December 31st to avoid the tax man. Might want to forerun that date or just hold, because this is one of the targets that I will be looking at to unload some shares. But if you look at this, this is where we are, the middle of the trend. By the end of the week, if we continue to go up, could actually take us to 468.71, and the 1-year price target is 472. Of course, we could just flush down and then crash and then possibly make our way back up again, because you know how Tesla is. She's as moody as they come. Now, looking left, you could see the spot where we bounced off of support, sell off at resistance up there. Same for this area, buy in at support roughly, sell off at resistance here, falling back down and then grinding along this middle of the trend, making our way up, selling off at resistance, back down to support, up to resistance, back down through support, grinding along here. And this gap is still in play to the downside, as well as these other gaps, but we are moving farther away from them, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. But if we retrace, these are some of the levels we can get back to, but it's not going to be in one fell swoop. And the gap that I was tracking, I know this starts to look messy, but I know exactly what I've marked out. So we gapped down. I'm going to move this to the 15 minutes so you can see this better. Oh, I can't even take it. I have to move this by hand versus just switch this over. If you go to the 1 hour, all of this can be seen. So right here is where I was beginning my gap and go trades. Oh, I have to take this to the 1 hour. It's looking like a mess here. Look at this. I have to go back so far right here. Oh my goodness. This gap was open, has been open since Monday, November 8th, 2021. We have just finally filled it to the upside, taking us to roughly 405.94. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me just, let's just go back to the 5. I'm going to clean it up. Option R. Oops, how did I get to Apple? Let's go back to Tsla and clean up this gap. We basically almost closed it out of the gate Monday, but no cigar. Very close though. Look at that, by pennies. And we finally touched it on Tuesday, December 10th. And that again was opened. That opened up in November of 2021. And that is the power of the gap. Yes, it could never fill. It could fill. It could take forever to fill. You just don't know. That you take it day by day, week by week, or whatever time frame that you like to play. And it finally closed on its way back, retracing. So now I'm going to flip this over to the daily, even though normally I don't show you the daily here for the purposes of the gap and go trades. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because I will be done tracking Tsla for part of my gap and go trades. I saw this opening a long time ago, and because we retraced, it is off of my list. I will cover it in my auto watch list, which I do have. And getting rid of this for my gap and go trades. Look, I've looked at this so many times, okay? I was trading it up in the $600 range. I've kept my shares. I've traded this for my sister in the past, but we reached as high as what did I track it at? At 1067 is how far I tracked it up. But look at this, the stock split. So that's why it went all the way back down here. But we have, Command Z to undo. But as far as the weekly time frame, right now we're at 436.23. I'm going to give you a price target. To this line takes us back to roughly 450 right there at 2 standard deviations on the weekly time frame. And that lines up with what JD said to dump out. And then the next target could be in the 526 range. And then way out there, 602 is another target. But that's a long ways off. And the RSI on the monthly is just touching the 70 mark here, where I just use this as support and resistance. You know it's going to crack. Yeah, we could go up all the way to this level and then roll back down just like we did here for a better buy-in. And that, let me check this out. Oh, it's not even, that was roughly 121.27 when the RSI was that low on the monthly. So keep in mind, we're going to crack. There's going to be a sell-off. It's just a matter of when. And we're already overextended on the weekly, and we are overextended on the daily. All 3 time frames are telling you something. They're giving you a clue. So it could be time soon to go short if you like to short the market. That's not my style, but if you do, get ready. But we could fall, obviously, to go back up again, because the 1-year price target is 472. And then after that, we'll have to wait and see what the analysts predict. Okay, that's enough regarding Tsla. Again, I'm going to dump this off of my list, and I'm going to take it down to 9 because there are just too many for me to go through. And I don't think anybody's interested in this gap and go watch list. All right. The next one. We ended the day at 1712 for Tsly, and I'm in this trade as well. So to the north side, 1727, 1737, 1748, the middle of the trend, takes us to roughly 1707. If we go sideways, this is where I anticipate it will, if we're up here, it'll bounce and this will turn into support. But if we roll over and then we try to go back up, this will turn into resistance. I'm getting an Amazon delivery. 1685, 1675, and 1664 are your targets. This gap is still in play, taking us down to 1602. And this one is taking us down to 1575, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. This gap did finally finish out. So we gapped down, so I anticipate it to fill to the upside. Again, I'm gonna have to go to a different time frame so you can see. But this is no longer in play to the upside. That closed at 1647 on Wednesday. And then we've got this gap still in play to the upside. And that one could take us for the fill maybe on Tuesday, if not sooner, unless we gap up. But I'm talking about actual closing it out if we continue to slowly make our way up. But at the end of the week, the middle of the trend could be at 1833. So where did this gap start? Let's take a look at this on the daily. See, I've done gap and go videos for this ticker so many times here. All right. Oh. Oops. So this one closed, as I mentioned, at 647. And that started on roughly July 24th, finally in the summertime. And now we're finally done. This has been a painful ticker to trade and to watch because it too has whipped us around like crazy. But I'm up, so I'm happy about that. Long term, you do make more money than getting in and getting out, just like real estate. All right, so that's done. And again, I have no idea when it's going to touch. I just extend it out, and that's why I have to go back and clean it up. And then we have this one to deal with as well. And I bought in. Ignore all the yellow lines. Those are previous middle of the trends that have turned into support or resistance. And I'm in this one. Oh, here we go. At different price ranges for myself and for my mom. $12.57, $12.92. $14.95 is the last time it appears that I bought this. And I was going to sell this earlier and it never hit my target. I set it for one day out and it didn't touch, and then I forgot to reset it, which is a good thing because look at the run up. So from here to today's price is about a 14% return, and we're up 3.19%. But I could have gotten out, in the past. I'll have to go to a different time frame to do that, but I'm not gonna. So there it is. I could take this out to set this on Monday. This is what I like to do. I take it out to 4 standard deviations, and if someone else wants to buy it and it hits that target, I let it go. But because I see this gap, one more gap that I'm tracking after this one. So we've got this one and then that one. Then I get greedy and then think, oh, if I just wait, but then things could crash and burn and then just take forever to go right back to where it is. So it depends on your strategy, what you like to do. But you can always set a stop loss and dump out without losing everything. Inch up your stop loss. Next, Sofi. That's a strategy. Oh, did I do the, yeah, I did. Yeah, the targets to the south side. All right, Sofi, I'm in this one as well. Pretty much everything that I've traded has gone into the gap and go videos. So Nate, That's part of my old gap, and the gap and goes are part of my old watch list too, just for fun. I put it in here, but I've taken some tickers out, put some in without trading it as well. All right, the middle of the trend and the baseline. Note last week we were down here and now we're here. What percentage is that? That is roughly, well, right here is a 2.18%. If we make it to that level, 1634, so close. Of course, I think we will. That's 2.7%. But if you bought it down here to right up there, that's an even better buy-in. Okay, I've got to stop talking and get going here with these. 1668, 1686, don't hold your breath, 1702. And this line is the previous price target that we have hit. I'll have to show it to you later if I do it at all. But 1601, there's a target, 1599, 1581, 82-ish, an old middle of the trend that has now turned into support. And then don't hold your breath, 1564. Looking left, there were no gaps really that opened up that I can see. So where is this line? Oh, wait, this little mini one, but that's closed. No big deal. So we have this one that I was tracking until last week, and it touched on Thursday the 12th. It opened up on December 5th. So congrats if you wrote it to this level. And you know what happens at resistance. People will take their profits and they will run. They will lock in and they will leave. And they did. All right, so that's done. And then this one closed to the downside, fell down even more for a better buy-in. All right, that's done. All right, what else? That is it. And as far as the next gap to the north side, I was going to stop here. And a couple weeks ago, I saw this one, even though that's not the gap that I was targeting when I started this for my gap and go trades. But there is a gap to the upside taking us to 2270. It's going to take a long time to get there, and you will get whipped around, but that is a target area. Next one is Rivn. To the north side, one level of resistance. There are many. I am just showing you one within how I trade, okay? 1446, 1470, and 1493. Since we are up here, getting to this level is, in my opinion, doable. But will it stay there? If it gets there, I don't know. I don't think so. And to the south side, that's the new middle of the trend. That is support, one level of support. So that is roughly 1397. This is an area we've been to before. 1350, 1326, and back to a level we've been, 1306. Or, well, it's really 1303 roughly. And because this is so close to this line, I'm going to delete it maybe in the week, but I want to see how many times we bounce between this channel, right? As far as the gaps go, this gap opened up, this opportunity, to the downside, either to short it or possibly to buy in if you've been tracking it. And then this one is still in play, as well as this one. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. All right, and to the upside, that would be here. And next up is Boeing. 171.48, 172.53, 173.45. We are at the middle of the trend. All right, 63, 65, give or take. This is approximately 167.75, 166.78, and 165.78. Looking left, you can see all the areas of a bounce. So down here, this is resistance. So then we fell down, went back up again, fell back down, grinding our way back to another level of resistance, and then slicing through the middle of the trend there, as you can see, where price likes to, to hang out before making a decision. Sell off, resistance, 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 there. Well, it's close enough, there. And for this line, support, 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 support. You can play it conservatively and just wait for those lines to hit. And sometimes they never hit, and then you miss out either on buying it or getting out. So this is still in play for the upcoming week. Again, I'm tracking from here, Monday to Friday. That's all I can do. It's micro level here. I doesn't say microscopic. It's not microscopic. I'm going to call it a micro level. Just 1 week. 1 day at a time and 1 week at a time. So this is the target that we are looking forward to the upside at 173.61. Things are turning around, it seems, for Boeing a little bit. And a while ago, I mentioned to you guys that one of the whistleblowers from Boeing somehow, supposedly, allegedly, killed himself right before there was some sort of a trial. And why would you ever do that? Why would someone kill themselves? I'm going to say that he didn't kill himself, that he got killed. And apparently somebody who was also a whistleblower for ChatGPT just died. I have to pull up this article. I heard this. And he's a whistleblower, and something was about to happen, and then he died. There was no foul play found. Yeah, right. It just is so disgusting to me what is happening to people in this world over politics, over money. It's just horrible. All right. So there's the gap up. I'm done with my diatribe here. Sell off at resistance, resistance, resistance. And this is a gap to the downside to be aware of. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close at this point. We've got another one down there, but we are going upward. You're going to get different buy and sell signals on the different time frames. So make sure to check those out. I'm just doing this for fun on the 5-minute to give you more price action. Okay. And the 1-year price target on this puppy is 181.17, which represents a 6.79% return from where we are. Next one, Unilever. Oh, I have this one for my mom, and I'm in Unilever. Middle of the trend, 59.14, 59.29, 59.44. 58.75, 58.60, 58.46, 58.31. 57.65 to the downside here. And this gap, I need to clean this one up. Closed at the beginning of the week. All right, and it opened up on basically Monday the 25th. So done. Delete that. So that's no longer in play. And this mini gap opened up. We flushed down, closed to the upside at roughly 58.79. And then we've got this gap and this gap to the upside. And the 52-week high was 65.87. We're at 58. I mean, the day's high was 58.90. 97. All right. And I wrote this as the 1-year price target a while ago on the 1st. Nike. Wait a minute. Let me check something. Yeah. So for Nike, right there, 77.68. Retracing back to a level we've been, 79.01-ish. Another level we've been to, 79.66, and 80.33. To the south side, 76.37, 75.69, and should we get down to this level, that will take out that gap, 75.05, but the gap ends at 75.31. We are in a downward channel, so for this to fully close will be possibly 2 more weeks unless we turn around. They might psych us out for a reversal, but if we touch this line, it could bounce. If we touch that line, it could bounce off of that too. That will turn into support, and then if we roll even farther down, it could act as resistance, but still in play. Note the bounce here at support, sell off at resistance. This gap opened up, mini little gap. I don't really like to track all of them. If they're so small, the deviations will wipe it out, but it's just so that you can see it. Try to mark it out if you have not done this before, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, this is now the middle of the trend. Notice how the previous week we're up here, and now we've moved a leg down. And then before that, this was the middle of the trend. Okay, and then this one is really old that I've tracked, taking this back to over here on September 24th. So I'm just going to delete this line. You could keep them. If it clutters your chart, don't even put it in. I'm just making notes, basically. I don't need to put it in. I just put it in for you guys so you can see where price could possibly revert to. Let me extend that a little bit more. Oops. And I could delete, let's see, last week was up here. These are old ones from previous weeks, and then this is an old one here too. So I'm going to get rid of one of those lines. I'll just get rid of the oldest line. See, we were here, and then we inched up a little bit, and then we well, kind of all over the place. Here, 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 and then over there. But I'm just going to delete this one for giggles, and I'm just going to leave these 3, and then I'll delete those later. And then we've got this gap to the downside still in play. As I mentioned, we could wick down here and then bounce off, like I mentioned. And what are we looking forward to? Oh, let me clean up this. What is this? Oh, look at this. Upon closer examination, this one, oh, that goes to this box up here. Geez Louise, all the way up here to 94. So we touched it here, never closed out, extends, continues. Whoops. So then we fall down. All right, and we're still, oops, falling. Commands, oops, gosh darn it. So this is still in play for the upcoming week. And so we are here. This is one gap to fill and another one. This is at 2 standard deviations. So definitely I think we could tickle this, although we're moving in a downward channel, but I think we could still touch it and then go down until we finally see a reversal. And then we've got this gap within that bigger gap here. All right, that is it for Nike. Estee Lauder. So we are at, look at this. Last week we were here, bounced up, and then started to grind our way back down. So now we are back at where we started. So that is the middle of the trend. Really, it's up here, but I won't be able to see it if I put it over each other. Although, just for this one, let's put it like that. That way I know there's an overlap. So price last week touched it here and bounced off. It turned into support on the way down, back up to resistance, sell off, touched this point multiple times, fell down to support and acted as resistance, but we busted through and now we're back and touching it. And if we're up here and down there, that's support. It's a tiny little area, but note we are still falling. Right, 78.19 is where that gap will touch and no longer haunt us. So hopefully that'll just be done and get it over with. It's like an open wound. We don't want them. Well, I actually like them because it gives you an idea of where price could go and you could do a quick day trade or scalp in and out. All right, that's to the downside. And that one's done. All right, that's all she wrote about. Oh, where was Estee Lauder? So when I looked at it, okay, well, no, I looked at it at 69.93. That should have been on my watch list for the top 20 that I'm tracking, but I only just started that list, but I will definitely have put that on there. But now it's run up so much, that is not how I like to trade or put on my watch list. But that was the perfect example of trolling, and it was on the monthly time frame. But look at this. If you make this larger so that you can see, I think what might happen is here, we're going to go here, and then we're just going to reverse because that's not the end of it, and then go back up again because opportunities present themselves multiple times. You think, oh, it's never gotten that beat up since it ran. But oftentimes, I feel like it does. All right, where am I? Did I give you? I think I gave you the price targets. If not, the outer band, 77.91, 81.96. And then watch out for that one. And to the upside fills up here at roughly 87.05. Nick, oh, did I mark the middle? Yeah, I did. Oops, stay on page. Neo is the next one. To the north side, 452, 456, 460, middle of the trend, the base. Oops. If you've got the magnet on, you have to go one tick over. Otherwise, it'll just sit right on top of that. Okay, 444, 436, 433, and back to a level we've been. It used to be the middle of the trend at 429. We've got this gap to deal with, taking us down to roughly 417, and this gap as well. To the downside. And fortunately, we have this to look forward to at 458, roughly. So that's 417, that's 395. And those are done. And what's happening? Oh, yeah, we had a run up. We had a nice little run up, and now we're giving it all back. So this never closed to 505. This one is still in play till roughly 517, and then this one as well. Many targets to the upside. We need to be unburdened by what has been for Neo, but we're not there. And Intel, I'm in Neo, upside down, And Intel, I'm in it for my mom. I'm up on some and down on some others. All right, this is where we are. 2053. 2093. 2114, don't hold your breath. 2133. Let me mark that out. So this is where we are for the week. If we go sideways, 2013, 1993, 1973. So for this week, this is where we are. Last week we were here, so that's good. We're inching up. That's nice. And overall, the direction's still going up. Bounce off support, support, sell off resistance, resistance, resistance. And there's a gap that closes, I think, at 21. I don't know. I have to make this. Oh gosh, we've got a gap at 29 all the way up there. Don't even hold your breath on that one. My goodness. 2904. We'll just take this one day at a time. And then this gap to the south side, roughly 1936. I did put an order down here and it never reached it, but I'm going to have to revisit that in case something happens. But I want to buy down here. I don't know if it's going to get there again, but we'll see. And I think that is it. Yep, that is a look at the gap and goes for this week, this upcoming week. Again, congratulations. If you are in Tsla and have made some money, definitely watch out because we are overextended, overbought on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And let me just hit this. So the 52-week high is 43.60.30, and we hit that on Monday. So if we hit it and we went up, I naturally will think there's a pullback. We have been unburdened by what has been with Tsla, and this is probably just the beginning because Elon Musk is now deep in with the White House, which is fantastic. Things need to turn around. We are sick and tired of everything that has happened, and the market has spoken. But just be careful for the pullback, maybe even a rug pull as people try to capture their winnings. Be prepared for that unless you're ready, you're in it for the long haul. And I'm not selling my ETFs. I own a lot of Tsla. Well, in an ETF because I own a lot of ETFs. All right, that does it for me. I will remove Tsla off of this list once again and have a great trading week.